You know that project I was talking about for the past 6 months? Not that one. Learning Blender. You wanna know how much progress I made? 0! So, no more pushbacks. We're officially starting today. But Blender is a wide software. It does a lot of things. So, what's my goal? What's my objective here? Well, the goal I had in mind actually was to get introduced into the 2D animation program that's called Grease Pencil. And as for 3D and everything else, I'm a complete noob in that department, so I won't be torturing myself with that for a while. I'm not gonna pressure myself to do too much with it. It's just a simple animation. How bad can it be? Konnichiwa, mina slime. Soshite. Giovanna desu. Alright, first thing to keep note. It's not bad. Standard brush. This must be the keyframes and the layers, probably. How do you add a new layer? So I opened the program. First impressions. There's so many buttons. I feel like I'm flying an airplane here. The shortcuts are a lot more different than other softwares. Basic things like moving around the canvas, color picking, 2 layer tabs for some reason. Even small stuff like that feels overwhelming for a beginner like me. What about the fill tool? Why isn't it working? For some reason it's not working. So, second nitpick, the fill tool is hard to understand. Not only is it hard to understand, I had to spend 4 days digging for info on how it even works. We'll go over it later on though, because there's some other stuff you should also know. Small nitpick number 3, I think. It's hard to get a true white with this scroll. I guess you just get it like this, but I'm not used to this. Either you have a color palette from Sprite or you have that triangle from Photoshop, if you know. But yeah, here you switch between material and color attributes. So the material, this is what you need if you want this base color to work. But if you want a specific case where you want it, you just want to change the color, change it to color attribute, and you can get this. So yeah. Oh yeah, another thing, I just pressed middle mouse button and it got me out of this mode. You just click here and that's how you change it. Oh yeah, see, I didn't switch from the material. Now I have this sort of select fill or whatever you call it. If you want to draw back, you go to solid stroke and you can draw your fingerling. So okay, I'm gonna draw the thing I wanted to draw, which is me eating a donut. I'm gonna do a little storyboard. I'm gonna draw the storyboard. I'm just gonna draw like a little Joe here. And I haven't played with the brushes yet. I don't know if which one I should use. My art is usually pixelated, but this is vector art, meaning that it doesn't have pixels, it just calculates the in-betweens and gives you a straight line. There's some upsides to it, but my art style is not how that should work, so I'm making it, I'm trying to find like a good brush that can give you that sort of grainy eye look, like this maybe, or this, let's see, pencil. Gonna be him opening the box. It's gonna be a box of. Then he looks into it. He looks into it. Okay, so now that you drew all the storyboards, Usually you'd have sound come along with it, but this is a silent thing, so I'm just gonna like extend them to see them clearly. Sometimes it gets confusing to like know which one of these are right. At least it's confusing for me. But yeah, there we go. That's not bad. Right now I have to now I want to add another layer. This one was confusing as well, because you can't just go like right click and add a layer. You need to go into here and you can just add a new layer. This is nice. This is a nice thing. You don't need to go into settings and turn the opacity up. You can just do this. And also the onion skin is editable for each layer. So you can choose what layer you can onion skin. And yeah, now I'll draw the details. Save. Donut Joe, let's say. And yeah, why not in documents? I don't have a folder for these. Okay, so saving wasn't that hard. Usually it takes some time on Sprite, depending on the length of the project. This is helpful. Instead of pressing left and right key, you can just press up and down key and you can switch between frames. Sugoi! Now we go back to drawing mode. That's a control tab for this wheel to come out. It's a lot faster than going in here and selecting it. You know, I have another nitpick. I don't think I'm gonna need the size in millimeters or in meters. You know why Blender does it in meters is because the other programs have to render the light and whatever, and when things are in a different size they have light bounces off differently, so that's why they put it in meters. Sorry, it's kind of hard to find the strength. I wish I could change the way the size is treated. Side note, if you set your brush size unit to view, it won't stay consistent when you zoom in and out of the drawing. Okay, so you press I to put in a new keyframe so you can do the transitioning part. See how the onion skin is getting too like complicated? I'll just turn down this one. Alright, I'll just do some drawing off camera now to finish these. So I'll put the speed drawing in the background for now, because now it's time for some basics with Joe. I'm gonna show you what I learned about the fill tool and how layering works. First of all, we're gonna need to know the difference between these two. When you draw a line, there's two things that are created. The stroke of the line is the thing you see when you're drawing. The strength, size, and color are all a part of this stroke. In addition to the stroke, an edit line is created. This line is the path that the stroke follows along. Why does this matter to the fill tool? Well, when you try to fill in the space using the edit line option, the fill ignores the stroke and goes straight for the edit line, vice versa. Keep in mind that if you do use the edit line option, if the edit lines aren't intersecting but the strokes are, Blender won't let you fill it in. The next thing to know about the fill tool is the precision factor, aka how many subdivisions or points the fill object makes. The fill that's created is an object, just like a line. So this ball, for example, will be made of two objects. You should keep track of this if your computer isn't that high-end, since the more objects and points you have, the harder it's gonna be to render. Fill guides are useful sometimes when you have an open stroke and you want to fill it without closing the gap. You hold Alt while drawing to draw fill guide. And finally, the last thing to note, the thing that took me 4 days to figure out. When you have a shape like this with two skewed lines, meaning that they aren't touching each other, the fill tool will not recognize the inner shape's existence and it will fill over it no matter the layer you choose. This is because the fill tool is racist and hates those who do not align. No, really, I looked up the reason why it does this, and most of the responses were the Blender fill tool is underdeveloped, but as of recording this video, fortunately they are gonna fix it in the 5.1 update. I wish they told me that sooner. If you're watching this video and the 5.1 update is still not out, the only way to fix it is to intersect the two lines with another invisible line and then fill it in twice. Okay. I can safely say that I am done with this animation, little animation. I don't think I can do much more. Here, let me just play it for you. So he sees the box, he opens it, he drops it, and that's it. This donut doesn't matter here. You just see the donut falling into the mouth. But I do have some mistakes that I made, and I would like to point out. First, see this stroke? Usually, this is how it would look in a sprite. You know, you have your keyframes all on one page and the layers all aligned in that way. But I have come to a realization. I saw that these objects, if you would call them, I've put the entire animation onto a single object or a single stroke, if you want to call it. Realistically, a more productive way that should have been done, which I don't think I can translate to now since I've already done the animation, I can't go back, is to make a stroke for each part of the animation. Let's say for the Joe here, that will be one stroke. For the hand that's also moving behind him, that's another stroke or G pencil to be put here. And also the donut, which goes, first of all, because this hand is behind Joe, the donut would need to be behind the hand for the hand to be seen. And then you need to put the keyframes manually later on when it starts falling over the Joe layer. You need to put the keyframes above it. I don't know how to do that unless it's like a manual thing, like manually putting every frame in. And I also haven't planned out the animation beforehand to take note of that fact, but I think if I put it inside of different strokes like this, like calling it donut or whatever, I could move the entire stroke. Because this is a 3D space, I can move the entire stroke above Joe, like above the layer, above the Joe's layer, and it would be seen. It would be seen on camera as if it's been above him. Let's just see if I can move this the way I wanted to. See in the Z-axis. So let's see if that works. Okay, well I can't tell because I already manually inserted it, but overall I think it's a good animation. I'd say it's a job well done. If this video helped you in any way, feel free to leave a like. Also comment down below what's your most annoying aspect of Blender. I think it's worth sharing how hard it can be to get into. You're not alone on it. It's hard for everyone. I'll probably make a series out of my journey through Blender, so stick around to find out if you're interested in that as well.